Welcome to the Profiles in Business podcast, where we talk about the influencers, innovators, and disruptors shaking up the world of business today. Now, here's your hosts.
If you live here in Phoenix, you definitely know that feeling. Thermometer rockets past 100, the AC kicks on, and you pray that familiar hum keeps going strong.
Holding your breath almost.
Totally. But in the back of your mind, there's always that nagging question, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
The big one. Okay, how much is this actually going to cost me if I need to replace my AC? It's got to be one of the most searched questions around here.
For sure.
And just the sheer uncertainty around that price tag keeps a lot of homeowners stressed, especially when, bang, the need becomes urgent.
And uncertainty is completely real. I mean, a new air conditioning system, it's a significant investment. Understanding what actually goes into that final cost is, well, it's essential for any homeowner facing that decision.
Absolutely. So that's precisely our mission for this deep dive. We're kind of pulling back the curtain on AC replacement costs right here in the Phoenix metro area.
Okay.
We've done a deep dive into source material centered around a real industry leader here, day and night air conditioning, heating, and plumbing.
Right. Day and night. They've been around a while.
Oh, yeah. Over 40 years serving Phoenix. And our sources give us this window into their operations, their values, their services, and importantly, what their long experience tells us about AC costs in this pretty unique market.
Right. So we're basically leveraging, over 4 decades of local, really on-the-ground expertise to understand this critical question.
Exactly.
We're looking at what determines the price, what's the typical cost range you might actually encounter, what factors you should prioritize, and how an established company like Day and Night approaches this whole challenge for homeowners.
Okay, let's dive right in then. Let's hit that core question everyone wants answered. Based on the material we looked at, what is the realistic cost range for AC replacement here in Phoenix?
Okay, so our research indicates that the typical cost range for AC replacement in Phoenix, it generally falls somewhere between $9,000 and $26,000.
Okay, wow. That's a pretty significant spread. $9,000 on the low end, maybe $26,000 on the high end.
Yeah.
That immediately tells us there's definitely no single sticker price for AC replacement.
Exactly. And understanding why that range is so wide, well, that's really crucial for homeowners. The sources detail several key factors that can dramatically influence where your specific project might land within that spectrum.
All right, let's unpack those then. What are the big pieces that make that price swing so much?
Well, first off, it's the system size and type.
Yeah.
Your home square footage, the layout, your specific cooling needs, that all determines the right size AC unit.
Right.
A bigger home generally needs a bigger system, naturally. And then there are different types of systems too, like split systems, maybe package units, or even, more complex multi-zone systems. Each one has a different price point.
Sure.
It's sort of like meeting a specific size engine for a specific car, right? You can't just drop any old unit into any home and expect it to work well.
Makes total sense. You wouldn't, put a tiny window unit in a huge ranch house and hope for the best.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Then there's energy efficiency. You've probably heard terms like SEER, maybe ER ratings.
Yeah.
These basically measure how efficiently the unit turns electricity into cooling power. Now, higher efficiency units, the ones with higher SEER or ER numbers, they typically cost more upfront.
Okay.
However, the sources really emphasize this. In Phoenix's climate, investing in higher efficiency is often framed as a critical, long-term cost-saving strategy.
Right, the long game.
Exactly. While that initial price is higher, the savings on your, let's face it, monstrous monthly energy bills over the unit's lifespan, they can be really substantial here.
Oh, I bet. Especially when you think about how many months a year the AC runs pretty much nonstop here. That efficiency isn't just some, green perk. It's a serious financial decision.
It really is. It's presented as a key part of the whole value equation.
Yeah.
And speaking of this climate, that brings us neatly to Phoenix-specific challenges.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, our desert environment is uniquely harsh on HVAC systems. There's no getting around it. The extreme sustained heat puts components under immense stress, much more than in milder climates.
Sure.
And then there's the dust. That fine desert dust, it can clog coils, reduce efficiency, accelerate wear and tear. It's just tough on the machines.
Yeah, the dust gets everywhere.
It does. So dealing with these conditions often requires specific considerations in the type of system recommended, or maybe even more complex installation methods. Things tailored to make sure the unit can actually survive and perform reliably year after year out here. And all of this, naturally, can add to the cost compared to, say, an installation in a much less demanding environment.
So it's not just installing standard equipment. It's kind of like installing standard equipment plus the, I don't know, the Phoenix durability package almost.
Yeah, you could definitely frame it that way. That's a good way to put it. Another significant factor is installation complexity.
Uh,
This involves more site-specific challenges. Things like the condition of your existing ductwork, the pipes carrying the cool air.
right.
Does it need repairs, modifications, maybe even full replacement? How accessible is the spot where the indoor and outdoor units actually need to go?
Ah, yeah. Tight attics or crawl spaces.
Exactly. Or are there electrical upgrades needed? Structural modifications required? All these variables impact the labor time, the materials needed, and that directly affects the final price.
Okay, so we've got the unit itself, size, type, its efficiency rating, the punishing environment it has to survive in, and then the specific physical work needed to put it in your unique home. Is there anything else major that swings the price?
Well, there's one factor that the sources present as absolute critical, and potentially the most impactful on the true long-term cost, even if it doesn't always result in the lowest upfront bid.
Okay.
And that's the quality of the contractor. The phrase, the true cost of poor installation, actually comes up as a recurring theme in the material.
Interesting.
Choosing a contractor based only on getting the cheapest price, quote, up front, that could be a major pitfall. A poor installation can lead to constant breakdowns, the unit never operating at its promised efficiency, premature component failure, and ultimately meeting expensive repairs or even, replacing the whole system again much sooner than you ever should have needed to.
That makes a huge amount of sense.
Yeah.
You could save maybe $1,000 on the installation today, only to spend thousands more on repairs and higher energy bills down the road.
Exactly.
So the cheapest quote doesn't necessarily mean the lowest total cost of ownership over time.
Not at all. And this is where our research into Day and Night's specific approach becomes particularly insightful. The sources detail how this company addresses these cost factors and really aims to provide value that goes beyond just the sticker price.
Okay, tell us more about that. What did the material reveal about how they handle pricing and the overall value proposition for a homeowner?
Well, a major point that's highlighted is their commitment to upfront pricing with no hidden fees.
Ah, good.
They really aim to take that uncertainty, that stress we talked about, out of the equation. They provide a clear, detailed quote before any work begins so you know the full cost, period.
Okay, that is a huge relief for homeowners, I imagine. No nasty surprises on the final bill after the job's already done. Transparency is key there.
Totally. And tied directly to that quality of installation piece we just discussed is their warranty protection. The sources emphasize their industry-leading 10-year parts and labor warranty on new installations.
Wait, 10 years, and that covers both the parts and the labor to fix them.
That's what the sources indicate, yes.
Wow, that sounds incredibly comprehensive, especially for a system working this hard in this climate.
It really is presented that way. For a major investment like a new AC system in Phoenix, having that level of protection for a full decade provides significant peace of mind.
I bet.
And it's framed as a critical component of the long-term value. It significantly mitigates the risk of those unexpected, potentially large costs down the line due to component failure or maybe even insulation issues.
So the warranty isn't just some standard add-on. It's framed as like a core part of protecting that really significant investment you're making.
Absolutely. And linking back to the importance of contractor quality, the sources connect Day and Night's 40-plus years of experience and their stated commitment to integrity, precision, and old-fashioned craftsmanship directly to the quality of their installation work.
Okay.
Their long history means they understand the unique challenges of HVAC in Phoenix intimately. The material suggests that experience translates into installations done right the first time, preventing those future headaches and unexpected costs we talked about.
Right. So that extensive experience isn't just, something to put on a brochure. It's presented as translating into real, tangible benefits for the homeowner by ensuring a quality installation from the get-go.
Precisely. They also seem to recognize that even when you factor in the value, the upfront cost is still significant for most people.
Sure.
So the sources mention programs they offer to help homeowners manage that investment. For example, their Cash for Clunkers program, which offers $3,000 off a new AC when you're replacing an old, inefficient unit.
$3,000 off. That's pretty substantial.
It is. And they also highlight various available financing options to help spread out the cost.
That cash for clunkers thing, that's a nice incentive, especially if you know you're replacing a really old system that's just an energy hog.
Right.
Which kind of ties into another common dilemma people face, doesn't it? Do I repair my old unit again, or is it finally time to replace it entirely?
It's a decision many homeowners definitely grapple with. Based on the insights we got from the sources, when should you realistically be thinking replacement rather than just, sinking more money into repairs?
Yeah. What are the key indicators that really point towards replacement being the smarter move?
Well, the most prominent factor is usually the age of the unit. While it's not an exact science, an older system, particularly one that's past the 10-15-year mark,
Okay.
which is often cited as a common lifespan range for systems working hard in this climate, well, it's simply nearing the end of its functional life. Components wear out, efficiency degrades over time.
Okay, so if your AC unit's older than your average dog,
Mm.
maybe start thinking about it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a pretty good rule of thumb. And coupled with age is the frequency and cost of repairs.
Right.
If you find yourself calling for repairs multiple times a year, and those repair bills are really starting to add up, that's a clear signal the unit is failing. At some point, the cumulative cost of those constant fixes will just outweigh the cost of getting a new, reliable system.
It's like that classic old car problem, right? You end up spending more keeping the old one running than just getting a new one.
Exactly. And finally, there's energy efficiency again. An old unit might still technically be cooling, but it's likely operating at a much, much lower efficiency than modern units.
Mm-hmm.
This translates directly into higher monthly energy bills, especially during our very long Phoenix cooling season. So replacing it with a high-efficiency unit, like we discussed, can lead to significant savings over the long term. That can make replacement a financially smart move, even if the old unit hasn't completely, died yet. The sources frame Day and Night's role here as using their 40-plus years of experience to help homeowners weigh these factors: age, repairs, efficiency, and make an informed decision between repair and replace.
So it sounds like they kind of guide the homeowner through that calculation, looking beyond just the immediate fix to the bigger picture.
Precisely. And just to underscore the reliability and the value discussed, the material provides some pretty compelling proof points directly from their customer base and their history in the area.
Okay, what kind of proof points did you find?
Well, first, there's just the simple fact of their longevity. 40-plus years serving the Phoenix area.
Yeah.
In a competitive market like this one, that kind of staying power, it's a strong indicator of reliability and trustworthiness, you'd think.
4 decades is definitely a long time to build and keep a reputation in one place.
It really is. And arguably the most powerful proof point mentioned is their customer feedback. The sources highlight an outstanding 4.9 Google rating.
Wow, 4.9 is high.
It is. And it's based on over 7,000 five-star reviews.
Hold on, 7,000 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
That's an incredible volume of positive feedback. It's not just, a handful of happy customers. That reflects a massive sample size of people who had positive experiences.
It's quite remarkable, yeah.
Yeah.
And it speaks volumes about consistent professionalism, quality of work, and positive customer interactions across literally thousands of service calls and installations over many, many years.
Wow. Okay, that kind of track record is pretty hard to ignore. The sources also mentioned their range of services too, right? It wasn't just AC.
That's right, yeah. They offer HVAC, but also plumbing and drain services. The material points to this as providing multi-service convenience for homeowners and businesses.
Ah, okay.
Basically simplifying maintenance and repair needs by having one trusted company potentially handle multiple systems in your home or business.
Right. One call does it all, essentially. Saves you the hassle of vetting, 3 different contractors for 3 different problems.
Exactly. And kind of woven throughout the material is their stated mission: premium service with a smile and treating customers like family.
Mm-hmm.
When you combine that with the tangible proof points like the 4.9 rating on thousands of reviews and the 40-plus years in business, it really paints a picture of a company built on trust, quality, and a strong commitment to customer care, especially in this challenging climate we have here.
Okay, so let's try and tie this all together then. For you, the listener, maybe sitting there in Phoenix, possibly grappling with that big question about AC replacement costs, what are the really essential takeaways from this deep dive?
Well, our exploration shows that AC replacement costs here in Phoenix typically land in that $9,000 to $26,000 range. Big range, but okay.
Right.
And this price isn't arbitrary. It's heavily influenced by factors like the specific size and type of system your home actually needs, its energy efficiency rating, which is really a strategic long-term investment here in Phoenix. The complexity of the actual installation, which is often impacted by our unique desert climate and maybe your home's existing infrastructure, and critically, the quality and the experience of the contractor you ultimately choose.
And the deep dive into the source material, particularly focusing on a long-standing company like Day and Night, really emphasizes that looking beyond just the lowest upfront prices, well, it's crucial for getting real long-term value.
Absolutely.
Factors like a truly comprehensive warranty, that 10-year parts and labor warranty stands out, plus transparent upfront pricing and a proven track record of quality work backed by decades of experience and, thousands of positive customer reviews. Those are essential considerations to protect your investment and ensure reliable cooling in this demanding environment.
Exactly right. Making an informed decision really means understanding what drives the cost and then prioritizing the factors that guarantee quality, transparency, and long-term reliability, rather than just fixating on that initial number. It's truly about ensuring your comfort and efficiency for years and years to come.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, I think, and maybe something for you to ponder as you think about this pretty significant investment. Considering the high cost of a new AC system in Phoenix and just how relentlessly it has to work in our harsh climate, how much attention should homeowners really place on ongoing quality maintenance after that brand new unit is installed?
Good question.
I mean, is neglecting regular checkups essentially putting that substantial, $9,000 to $26,000 investment at unnecessary risk? Could it be potentially shortening its lifespan or costing you way more in energy and future repairs down the line? It's a really critical thought when you think about maximizing the value and the lifespan of such a vital home system, especially here.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to check the show description to learn more about the businesses we covered today. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more great content.